People believe, I mean, and this is complete insanity on a grand scale, that there is a connection here between the economy and the market, and there isn't none. I mean, just as an example of that, just this morning, we got a consumer spending report, retail sales, both coming in way lower than expected. Meanwhile, the market's higher. How does that work? The continuing bad economic news, it doesn't matter anymore. In fact, the worse it gets, the faster, and I've been telling people this for I don't know how long, that the economy free falls, the higher the market's going to go. It's a phenomenon. It's a paradox, but that's the way it's going to go here. But again, this is opportunity for people to get involved in looking for assets that are massively undervalued. Again, going back to what I think is both of our favorite assets in this world, and that is silver or gold, silver more specifically.
In this video, renowned financial analyst Gregory Mannarino, the founder of TradersChoice.net, discusses removing yourself from the Federal Reserve propaganda and protecting yourself from the crisis by investing in precious metals. According to Gregory Mannarino, central banks, particularly the Federal Reserve, are devaluing currencies, creating distractions. He believes the financial system is being dismantled, resulting in a misleading illusion of market health that fools people into thinking their rising investments indicate economic strength. Mannarino believes the global inflationary environment is driven by central banks devaluing their currencies. The US dollar has devalued 99% since the formation of the Federal Reserve. The targeted inflation rate of 2% per year is devaluation. Real money, such as gold, tells the story of government monetary malfeasance. Despite fluctuations, gold has risen 89% in the past 5 years, outperforming the S&P 500, which increased by 85%. Recent reports show lower than expected consumer spending and retail sales, yet Mannarino expects the market to keep rising, illustrating this paradox. He emphasizes that worsening economic news now appears to drive the market higher, a phenomenon he's long predicted. He views this as an opportunity to invest in undervalued assets like gold and silver. Gold prices rose on Tuesday after economic data from the United States hinted that consumer spending is constraining due to a softer than estimated retail sales report. This fueled speculation that the Federal Reserve could begin this year's easing cycle. Recognizing the recent trend, Gregory Mannarino advises mimicking central banks and the top 1 to 2% by acquiring gold and silver. He predicts that we can better prepare for economic changes by following the actions of the wealthy and central banks, who hoard gold and commodities. Monetary gold buying activity has now continued into 2024, with central banks purchasing a net 290 tons of gold between January and March of 2024. Which again, according to the WGC, is the strongest first quarter on record. Now, we present the clips of Gregory Mannarino's insights from his recent interview with Liberty and Finance. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
We're witnessing a phenomenon I think that a lot of people expected. I've discussed this on my blog here. Artificially suppressed rates here, the propping up of the market moving towards the presidential selection. We have, again, a mysterious entity out here buying a heck of a lot of debt, and that mechanism is keeping rates suppressed, opening up a doorway for cash to make its way into the stock market. And of course, we're getting record high on the back of continuing dollar devaluation. And this phenomenon, it's not going to stop until it does. And I sincerely believe we're going to see this play out to a much greater degree as we move closer to the presidential selection here. The distractions, the deceptions you spoke about, the look here, the don't look over there. The fact that central banks are in a race to the bottom here, none more so than the Fed, with regard to currency devaluation, what we can expect moving forward here, the dismantling, the deconstruction of the current system is in full swing. And a part of that is the illusion of the markets. People have to understand. I mean, like most people, they look at their 401ks, they look at their investment plans, and they see it going up and up and up. This illusion is an extremely powerful thing. People believe, I mean, and this is complete insanity on a grand scale, that there is a connection here between the economy and the market, and there isn't none. I mean, just as an example of that, just this morning, we got a consumer spending report, retail sales, both coming in way lower than expected. Meanwhile, the market's higher. How does that work? The continuing bad economic news, it doesn't matter anymore. In fact, the worse it gets, the faster, and I've been telling people this for I don't know how long, that the economy free falls, the higher the market's going to go. It's a phenomenon. It's a paradox, but that's the way it's going to go here. But again, this is opportunity for people to get involved in looking for assets that are massively undervalued. Again, going back to what I think is both of our favorite assets in this world, and that is silver or gold, silver more specifically, for me especially. And look, if we realize that the entire system is rigged against us and nothing is what it appears to be, this is no comedy of errors that got us here. Okay, if we realize this is going to, unfortunately, progress in a very predictable way, we know who our enemy is, we know what they want. I'm talking about central banks here. That gives us power. It gives us strength. And we have to come together. We have to, they're trying to separate us, right? We have to unite. We have to come together and understand what's going on here so we can take the appropriate action. Not only are we seeing a phenomenon that's been going on for quite a while with central banks acquiring gold, and I'm certain silver as well here. But what I said today in my morning video was we need to mimic or copy not only what central banks are doing, but what the 1% and 2%ers are doing. But you see, when people talk about the rich or the super wealthy, these people more than likely are cash poor. They have liquid assets here, but they're not holding a lot of central bank issued currency anywhere around the world. The 1% and 2%ers have their wealth in other things here. So we need to say, okay, well, what are they doing? What are central banks doing? And I could look, it should be a no-brainer to people, really honestly, that understanding the current situation here, and let's just look at what some of the root causes of the current global inflationary environment are. That is, again, central banks in a race to the bottom to destroy the purchasing power of their currency. If we know that's going on, and they are the ones that are doing this, well, why are they the ones here that are hoarding gold? Why are the 1% and 2%ers hoarding gold, gaining exposure to commodities here? Why? Because they realize where this is going, just as you and I have way before everybody else. And so understanding, we need to do what they're doing because they're not stupid. The 1% and 2%ers, then maybe they're privy to a little more information than, let's say, the average guy or the average girl is. So if they know something and they're doing something about it, well, that means that we need to take action as well.
Gregory Mannarino warns of rapidly escalating global debt, signaling a potential breaking point in the financial system soon. He predicts significant changes post-presidential election and advises staying in the precious metals and stock market due to expected low interest rates and ongoing currency devaluation favoring stocks. The main driver behind these sizable deficits is the escalating interest cost on the federal debt. The CBO projects net interest outlays will increase from 3.1% of GDP this year to 4.1% by 2034, totaling $12.9 trillion over the 2025 to 2034 period. For 2024 alone, net interest outlays are expected to reach $892 billion, surpassing discretionary outlays for defense. Mannarino anticipates that increasing dependency will allow central banks to inflate further, endangering individual liberties. He emphasizes the need for awareness to prevent people from seeking solutions from those dismantling the current system. However, Mannarino sees opportunities in undervalued assets such as gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and cryptocurrencies. Let's get back to the interview.
If you look at the pace at which global debt is ballooning, it's taken on a whole different meaning now. It's gone hyper parabolic, and this mechanism tells us, or at least it should, that we are more than likely very near a cracking point, a breaking point in the system, and that's why I look towards next year, past the presidential selection, to say I think things could potentially change dramatically. But for now, I think the opportunities lie in a couple of places. One is staying long the stock market. I know this might sound insane to people, but if we realize that rates are going to remain suppressed, that currency is going to accelerate with regard to it being devalued, that's very stock market positive, okay, until it's not. And we watch the MMRI, as you had brought up. That's an amazing risk indicator. It's not the end all, okay, but it does give us a a window, a picture as to where we should be putting cash to work. Now, if we realize that the stock market is going to remain propped up, the illusion of the market is going to be maintained till the selection here, that means that other assets are going to become undervalued more so than they are now. And again, gold, that brings me right back to gold, silver, platinum, palladium, commodities across the board. And in my opinion, I also believe cryptocurrencies too. Absolutely. Fractured, divided, and dependent. They need to create, and it's in full swing, dependency on the system. So when the new system comes, look, it's always the same story: problem, reaction, solution. Go back in history as far back as you want to go. It always follows that same algorithm: problem, reaction, solution. And then it's anger too. Okay, those people that are seeing everything you just outlined. Okay, it creates this feeling of anger, of fear. Fear is a mechanism that is, again, been used as a weapon against us all since the beginning of time. I've been telling people on my blog, I don't know, for over 10 years now, if they can make you afraid of anything, just one thing, even if it's completely unrelated to something, once they have that fear in your head of whatever it might be, whatever you personally may be afraid of, you're actually done here. That's a trapdoor. And I always tell people to be very careful not to step into these trapdoors that they set for you. Number one is fear. Once they make you afraid, they can control every single aspect of your mind and your life, because that's how it's going to just play out here, making people paranoid, and then get them to focus on things. Again, look, when one of these events happens, like you just had said, like, like a looting of a particular, then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, this is going to happen in my neighborhood, and it's going to get even worse. And then you got the media pounding on that. Focus on this. Look at what's happening here. Maybe in one bad event out of maybe 100 good ones, but focus on this one here. But the fact of the matter is this: look, it's about, and I've been telling people, look out for what they're doing is creating more dependency on the system, which gives central banks a reason to inflate even further. And people are going to surrender their liberties willingly, more so the more dependent they are on the system. I've been telling people for years, and you probably heard me say that we need a revolution here. And the fact of the matter is, they know that. They got to prevent a revolution because they need dependency. If they create people that are dependent on the system, the current system, which is being taken apart piece by piece, these people are going to beg for a solution. Please help us when this comes down. They're going to look to the same individuals that are destroying the current system by design for help. And they already have a solution, of course, in their favor here. Again, the society today is being deconstructed and reconstructed into a neo-feudal system. Extreme haves, extreme have-nots. But to make this happen, they got to create extreme dependency. And that's what we're seeing now. And I think it's going to accelerate more so moving forward, unfortunately.
Gold and silver continue demonstrating their value, offering stability and growth potential amid fluctuating currencies. With these assets proving their worth as hedges against financial instability, are you considering bolstering your portfolio with gold and silver to safeguard against future economic challenges? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the next video.